No one has figured this out.
The Mesoamericans were quite clever in developing a wide array of different types of weapons.
Obsidian is a volcanic glass that has extremely sharp edges and sometimes is as sharp as a scalpel.
From the artistic and archaeological evidence of the New World, we can tell that the swords were probably what are known as the macuidal among the Aztecs. This is a wooden blade, and embedded in that blade are pieces of obsidian, which form a very deadly cutting edge.
They were so sharp that there are accounts of them actually taking off the head of a horse with a single blow.
So these were very effective and deadly weapons, and were used probably because as the Nephites lost access to certain metal resources, they were unable to transmit and replicate their metal technologies.
We don't know exactly what kind of sword Ammon had, but the kind of sword that the Mesoamericans used certainly would have been sufficient to cut off the arms of the attackers, and those arms were subsequently taken and presented to King Lamoni. In warfare, the wood would have readily become stained with blood. Blood was a sacred substance among the peoples of Mesoamerica and held in great reverence, so that the warriors probably would have been very proud of their blood-stained swords. In the Book of Mormon, the anti-Nephi Lehis had their swords stained with blood, and as a sign of their conversion to the gospel, they buried these blood-stained swords deep in the earth.
They're so serious about having repented of their sins that they actually take their weapons and they bury them up in the earth, and they make a covenant that they will never take them up again.
It was a tradition in Mesoamerica to place offerings deep in the earth in this manner.
This is going to be a witness to God that we have not stained our swords again, that we have not returned to our sins.
There's many types of armor described in the Book of Mormon. There's head plates, breastplates, arm plates, and you can see these reflected in some of the Mesoamerican art, especially the Maya art.
One of the things that Captain Moroni does is innovate some defensive armor. And part of that defensive armor is a shield, it's upper body protection.
The lower legs are a difficult part of the body to protect with armor. And the reason being that in order to have flexibility in the knees, you've got to have an opening or a gap.
Helaman stripling warriors would have had some kind of a defensive armor on and would likely not have been injured in a place that was fatal, but they would have certainly lost blood from injuries that they would have on the arms and legs.
If you look at Mesoamerican martial art, it's quite clear that the Mesoamericans also didn't have any armor from the knee down. So they preferred speed and mobility to protection. Therefore, they didn't protect the lower legs, but that made them vulnerable.